PixelYourSite has now full support for Google Tag Manager. It means that you can install Google Tag Manager with our plugin, and you can also configure events, custom events or startup events that will go directly into the data layer, and from there we can pick them with triggers and variables and tags, and configure tags inside Google Tag Manager. We actually have a template right here that does this automatically. We configure variables, we configure triggers, and we will configure more and more tags. For now, when I record this video, we only have support in this template for Google Analytics. You can add any other tags you want inside your Google Tag Manager, but we already configured this with this container import-export file. Now, when you create an event inside PixelYourSite, you can, let me create an event. So this will be the name of my event. Let me copy the event. You can define here the trigger. I will say every URL that contains the website address. So basically it will be a general event, not something that I recommend doing. Is just for this video. I don't want to complicate things. I have other videos about our triggers, various triggers. And when you define the event, you can enable this for Google Tag Manager. Give this event a name. It will be the same one. It will be a custom event. You can also select one of the events from the long list of standard events. And now there are various options. Add the automated parameters in the data layer. Each event we fire with PixelYourSite has a long list of parameters, important data that we detect automatically, and we add this by default in the data layer. If you use our import-export container file, we have a variable detecting these parameters. So if you add automatic parameters, they are present in the data layer. Things like the page title, UTM source, landing URL. We detect a lot of information and attach that information to all these events into the data layer, and you can keep it there. For some reason, if you want to remove it, you can remove it for your custom event. We also have a custom trigger object that you can remove. This trigger is used by our Google Tag setup to detect such events. So we will be able to detect all the events configured inside the plugin this way. If you, for some reason, want to exclude an event from that list, simply remove the trigger, and our trigger will not detect the event. Keep in mind that you will have to create a new trigger for this event, for example, using the event name. So if you want, for example, to send this event to just, I don't know, LinkedIn, and you have LinkedIn configured inside Google Tag Manager, create a trigger for this particular event and use that trigger for your LinkedIn tag. It's just an example. By default, our general trigger for custom events will detect the event if you don't remove the trigger. I think you can hear one of my cats screaming. It's lunchtime. They're very, very precise. I have 3 cats. Anyway, let's get back to our job here. And you can also use custom value for the custom parameter object. What it means? It means that you can add parameters, value 1, 100, value 2, thing. Okay, and these custom parameters will go into their own object inside Google Tag Manager template, that data layer. And in our import-export file, we have a variable. We have variables detecting up to 5 such custom parameters. If you don't want them to be detected, you can change the name of the object and of course, our variable will not detect them anymore. It's again pretty simple. So this way you can configure the event. I think I should better configure the event, fire it, and show you the data layer. I will keep the default options. Okay. And now I will open Tag Assistant in incognito because I want to avoid any cached version of my website. Now I should be able to see the data layer for my custom event. This is the data layer. As I was telling you, this is the automatic parameters object, all the data that we track for all the events, all this stuff. I don't have UTMs because if I have UTMs, they will be also tracked and listed here. Inside our pre-configured template Google Tag Manager container, we have a variables detecting all this stuff. So if you want to stop detecting them, simply remove this, as I show you. We have the manually configured parameters here, and our pre-configured variables will detect them. And we have the trigger manual. So our trigger in the container will detect this event. If you want to change all that, is doable with the options I explained. If it doesn't make any sense, because I'm talking about an import file, a container, and triggers and variables that are pre-configured, I have another video on this channel showing you how our import works. And I think it's a good thing to watch those videos next, because this is why it's so confusing. Maybe you don't know about the import export file that we have here and how you can use it to create a container with all the stuff already configured, like variables and triggers and tags. All that options allow you to customize the way the custom event will work. It will be detected by our default triggers present in this file, or if the data, the standard parameters will be detected by our variables, or the custom parameters will be detected by our variables. If you want to have more control, you can do it with those options I was just showing you we have for every custom event. So that's it. The idea is simple. We give you a lot of flexibility. You can create your own events inside PixelYourSite. These events will be pushed in the data layer. From there, Google Tag Manager can pick the data. You have the freedom to use our container file and use all our variables and our triggers for any tags you want to implement inside Google Tag Manager. You can create your variables, you can create your triggers, you can configure the event to send our default data, our default parameters. You can change the trigger name, you can remove our trigger object. You can rename the object where we push the custom event. So in essence, you have full control. But I have to recognize this is a bit complex. You need to know your ways with Google Tag Manager. Otherwise, this video will be long and just confusing. And I'm sorry about that. What else? Watch the video about the container import file. That's something we plan to develop in the future and to add more tags there. For now, as I said, we have all the variables required to detect our data, all the triggers required to detect our events, and support for Google Analytics. That's it. Thank you for watching. I'm Cristian Stoicescu from PixelYourSite. This is PixelYourSite. It's getting more and more useful. We now have our native tags, but also Google Tag Manager. That's why these videos are getting boring, I guess, for some of you, but also, I hope, useful. So subscribe to our channel, like this video, and share this video. Thank you for watching.